of you being here today. Rob, I'll start with you. Just overall reaction here to Trump ringing the bell. Not only that, though, but the Time Magazine Person of the Year, the second time for the president.
It's remarkable, Sean, to see this turnaround. I mean, Donald Trump obviously left office 4 years ago at a time when maybe he was at his lowest. The media was certainly in full-scale attack on him. And today, look at the celebration on the floor of the stock exchange. I mean, people flocking to him, wanting to shake his hand and be part of this special moment. And so I think that this represents just the urgency and the change that the American people want to see Trump usher in, not only to Washington, D.C., but really to help the American people get back on their feet, lower the cost of living, do all of those things that he campaigned on, and deliver on the promises that we will have a more secure country, a more prosperous country, and we will end some of the foreign conflicts that have exacerbated over the past 4 years.
Yeah, also, David, wanted to move on to this topic as well. The House, led by Mike Johnson, Speaker Johnson, passing this, an $895 billion defense bill yesterday. It's known as the NDAA, or National Defense Authorization Act. It rebuilds the U.S. military, which Trump was speaking about, after 4 years of President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris. So the NDAA ends all the woke policies, the Biden administration pushing on the Pentagon. Your reaction to that, David?
Yeah, I mean, it was a must pass for Congress, one of the final things that they really had to do before the end of this legislative session. And but it's unfortunate to see some of the controversies in that bill. There was a lot of fight about the puberty blockers, things like that. You know, I'm not a doctor, but we have politicians now playing that role, saying what military services kids, what type of treatment they can receive, even when a medical diagnosis is required and available. So that's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that these little things that are important to what I've read, thousands of service members' families, get caught up in this political debate. And it's both sides of the aisle. We saw Speaker Johnson demand that little tiny piece was part of this close to $900 billion package. That's essential. But it was good to see pay raises for our military personnel. But things like this that restrict some of the services that people can receive just because they're part of the military is unfortunate. And I think it does a disservice to our military men and women and their families.
So just kind of to follow up on that, the NDAA also targets these media monitors that tend to be left-leaning groups like NewsGuard and GDI. NewsGuard, for example, is a front for the Democratic Party. It's run by a leftist named Steve Brill. Brill and NewsGuard work with ad agencies to block conservative media from getting advertising. So essentially, its critics say it's censorship by demonetization. So the Pentagon spends $500 million on recruitment ads, but they won't advertise on conservative or pro-Trump media. So recruitment is down statistically. The House NDAA now goes to the Senate. Just kind of want to get both of your reaction to that. David, if you want to start.
Well, yeah, I mean, this is something that I think it's important that we make sure that our military has the ability to recruit, and we shouldn't have too many strings attached to that. So I think we got to take a good look at this and see, in this modern day where the media is fractured and we have new types of media that are evolving every day, the military has to be front and center and has to get in front of a new generation of our next best and brightest. So I think we got to make sure that they don't have their hands tied behind their back when we're competing with so many different interests. The military has to be there and make their case to the next generation to serve in the military.
And Rob, that's the argument that many Republicans that are backing this bill say that this does. It gets the military back to being the military, gets rid of woke policies that are within it, critical race theory, transgender policies, climate change programs, DEI programs, all of that within this bill. And again, that's where the Republican backing comes from, gutting that out. Your thoughts, Rob? We'll close with that.
Yes, Sean, and to make 2 points. First of all, it also bans drafting our daughters, which is an important policy that Republicans have fought against for a number of years. We should not put women on the front lines of combat. And secondly, to your point about NewsGuard, I'm really thankful to Newsmax and to all of the other organizations in the media world, including the Daily Signal, that have spoken up on this particular issue. The government should not be giving contracts to organizations that want to censor us and prevent us from distributing the news to the American people. So we have been targeted. I know you have been targeted, and I'm glad to see Congress take this important action and make sure that the Pentagon is not giving them any more taxpayer funding.
All right, we'll continue to discuss this topic again throughout the program. David Carlucci, Rob Bluey weighing in. Thank you both, gentlemen.